It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Right now, we're going to have a conservative future segment. That's something, Paul and Conduit News has every so often, highlighting some of the young conservatives across the states, the next, the leaders for the liberty movement here in Arkansas. And so I've invited Drake Moudy, who's come on, and I think he's on the line with us right now. Drake, good morning.
Good morning to you, Josh. How are you this fine morning?
I'm doing well. And I was just telling Joe I got a Facebook notification on my calendar, and didn't realize this, but today is actually your birthday, isn't it?
It is.
Well, happy birthday.
2-0.
Big 2-0.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Well, tell the audience just a little bit about yourself, where you're at, and just a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am actually originally from El Dorado, Arkansas, and I am going into my junior year at the University of Arkansas, studying both political science and history, with the intentions of going to law school after that. And so I'm just here at the University of Arkansas trying to make a difference and trying to bring a conservative message to campus, and to really highlight all the good things that conservatism stands for, and how that can affect our lives and the lives of those of our neighbors as well.
Great. And are you the chair of College Republicans at University of Arkansas? Is that correct?
I am.
Okay.
I am the chair of the College Republicans of the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, and I'm also the state finance director for the Arkansas Federation of College Republicans.
Great. I was thinking the other day, my freshman year of college, in the spring, I guess that would have been 2010, I went to the College Republicans Convention, and if I remember right, we met there at the RPA headquarters, in kind of a smaller room, and gosh, there's maybe 25 of us. And I think I saw a picture, and then my senior year, 4 years later, quite a few more. We had moved, I think, over to the state old Supreme Court room at the state capitol. But I think I saw some pictures. I mean, y'all just packed out the Capitol up there, it looked like, this last year.
Yeah, absolutely. At our last convention, we actually pretty well filled up the Arkansas Senate chamber, and it's really refreshing to see the growth of the Republican Party at the college level. We see just universities that are starting to really grow at a grassroots level, and that's really refreshing, especially when we go to think about the party and the future of the Republican Party of Arkansas. And it's just really refreshing and humbling, I guess is the best way to say it, to see that all the work that those that came before us, that their work has not gone in vain. It's very positive momentum, and it's a positive growth, and that's really, really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just really in the last 10 years, it's just grown exponentially, the Republican Party. But Drake, one thing, as part of these conservative future segments, Paul usually asks about, well, what does conservatism mean to you? I'm a fellow Republican, and I, respect the platform and the principles and, how that's conservative. But, to you, what does conservatism mean, and why are you a conservative?
Yeah, absolutely. So I firmly believe that the best way to have a positive impact on those lives around me is to enact principles that limit government growth and expand personal freedoms. And I think the best way to do that is to engage in the political spectrum and the political arena and really push for candidates that uphold those values. Because at the end of the day, to me, it's all about the single mother who, goes to the grocery store, and at the end of her, mile-long receipt, sees all the taxes that are at the end of her receipt. And even as a college student, seeing that, I think that's really something that we've got to take pause on and reflect and figure out, is this really the best way to be doing this, whole government thing? Is it something that we can do better? How can we increase efficiencies, decrease inefficiencies, and promote our fellow neighbor while still, having a sustainable government? And I think that's what it means to be a conservative. It's not, we're for this or we're against this. It's about helping one another.
Yeah, Man, I like that first line he said, especially, limiting government growth and but thereby expanding freedom. I mean, that's why I'm conservative too. So
Yeah.
that's great. One thing we talked about the other day, and in some texts is this issue of free speech on campus. Tomorrow on the show we're gonna have representative from a group called Fire, and they're gonna talk, kind of on the national level, some trends, free speech on campus. But since you are a college student there at the University of Arkansas, I just wanted to, ask you about that, get your perspective on free speech on campus there at the U of A.
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever we were talking about this, one of the first things I kind of thought of was that I think this is true for all of us, whether we want it to be or not, but a vast majority of us are very pro free speech as long as we kind of agree with that. And that's, a personal bias that we all have to work on. But that's something that you really see hit hard on college campuses, is that if someone doesn't agree with you, then they don't think that you have the right to speak. And that's something that we really have to, that we struggle with on college campuses specifically across the nation and not just in the state. Specifically to the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, it's a pretty complex issue, actually. More so, I would say, than maybe at other college campuses. As you know, Fayetteville is a very left-of-center, progressive thinking, progressive-leaning haven in northwest Arkansas, which is, pretty juxtaposed to the rest of the state. And the same is true of college campuses. They're very left of center. However,
that's a very nice way of putting it, but yes.
Well, I try.
Yeah, go ahead.
The demographics of the U of A actually lean more to the right. We have a large population of students that are, white, upper middle class, that fit that mold, that are actually more right of center. So it's really interesting when we host events on campus. We have those people that obviously lean to the right, but then the majority or the minority of students that actually are left of center are the ones that are very loud and ruckus when it comes to any specific event or anything. So it's really interesting at the University of Arkansas, I would say. We're really thankful. Honestly, we don't have a lot of pushback from the university itself. If anything, it's from the students at the university. And I think of this one instance. Back in the 2016 general election, we were hosting a tabling event outside the Arkansas Student Union with other organizations, non-political organizations, things like that. And we had all of our college Republicans literature and just literature on the Republican Party and what it means to be a conservative and all the stuff that goes along with that. And somebody who is a very big Clinton supporter walked by and grabbed our literature and threw it up in the air, threw it on the ground, and started shouting obscenities about our current president. And so it's moments like that where we have to pause and kind of think about, okay, let's continue pushing for our message, but at the same time, let's be productive with how we do it. Now, granted, that instance was, nothing we can control, but those instances where you see the pushback from the students. But that just means we're doing something right at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I guess y'all probably didn't, though, create a safe space for that person the next
No,
day.
we did not create a safe space. That's not something that we would be doing, I can guarantee you.
Okay. Well, that's a unique perspective, and, I think I've heard it, it varies from campus to campus. So appreciate your perspective on that. One thing we were talking about the other day as well is maybe that event was one of them, but something I know y'all are doing with the College Republicans group is volunteering a lot, on campaigns or getting involved in campaigns and, really getting young people out to vote and registering to vote. And so really that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is about. You got to get people to turn out and vote. And so I was really glad to hear y'all are working so hard on that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a lot of general elections in Northwest Arkansas specifically, so that's something that our group is going to be focused on. We've got people like Don Clements running in the Arkansas 4th Senate District, who's running against, it's not an incumbent, but someone that's very well known.
Mm-hmm.
So we've really got to work with her to promote her platform of sustainable government, high quality education, and job growth.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to get the elbow grease and let the shoes hit the pavement and get out there and knock doors for her and let people know that this is a message that she's bringing to the community and she's bringing to Fayetteville. And quite frankly, it's one that Fayetteville alone hasn't seen a lot of lately.
Yeah.
And I'll say Dawn has a lot of great ideas. She's got a lot of great support from prominent members of the community just from talking with her. And so, it's one of those things that we've got to get out. We've got to do the legwork, and we've got to work with her and her campaign and her team to really enact these conservative principles, because at the end of the day, it all comes back to electing conservatives who implement conservative ideals and conservative policies to better our lives and the lives of our Kansans around us. And that's what it's about at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm from Fayetteville as well, and so I'm so glad she is running, and I just really hope she's able to defeat Greg Leding there in that Senate district, because Fayetteville, unfortunately, a lot of times we don't even have a Republican option, and so I'm really excited to see where she goes, and I know I'm going to try to help where I can, and glad to hear y'all are as well to make sure we get a Republican in that Senate seat rather than a Democrat. So I think that's great. Now, you are also working on another campaign, though, right, for County Judge Joseph Wood there in Washington County.
That is correct. I'm working with Judge Wood to help build a better Washington County. We're excited of all the successes that the judge has had this past year, and we're looking forward to continue to working and advocating for and building upon those successes. And we're just really interested to see and excited to see where this opportunity takes us. And we're really looking forward to building a better county, not only for the residents of Fayetteville and Springdale, but for those residents in Farmington, Prairie Grove, Lincoln, other sides outside of the central hub of Washington County.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, I think a lot of people, don't understand the importance of a county judge and even justices of the peace at the local level, but they run the county government. It's so very important. We, are also invested in at the least informed on what the county governments are doing. And, under Judge Wood's leadership, they've really turned the tide there from the previous Democrat administration. And it looks like there might be more help on the way with some more conservative JPs running. Lance Johnson, Patrick Deakins, Jim Wilson, I know are all running there in Washington County, and so I think things are setting up to be very successful for the near future for Washington County. So I'm glad to hear your state senate, county judge races. I mean, that's great, Drake.
Absolutely, yeah. We're really looking forward to getting out and like I said, letting our shoes hit the pavement, knocking on some doors, phone banking, and really energizing the general populace of Northwest Arkansas. Because, we've all talked about it, and we've all thought about it a lot. And, the Democratic Party of Arkansas, they're really out for Northwest Arkansas. They're really interested in cutting into our House supermajority. And we've got other House races that are have a Democratic opponent that we haven't seen in the past have a Democratic opponent. And so now that primary season's over with, we're just ready to all come together and to elect and reelect those that share our Arkansas values. And once again, it all comes back to electing those people to implement those policies that we honestly and genuinely believe will affect the most people.
Yeah. Well, Drake, I appreciate you coming on, and feel free to reach out to the show to get us information about, the work going on there with Judge Wood and the candidates and with the college Republicans there at U of A, and let us know how we can help.
All right. Thank you, Josh. Will do, and I enjoyed being on the show today.
All righty. Well, I hope you have a great birthday.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
All right. Take care.